Hey, what up, Dan Land Pro here? I figure I'd do me a quick live today. I've been in the studio messing around all day, so I just want to do a quick live. Come on here and talk a little bit. I'm going to watch Inside Stepping tonight. They're going to have Christine Jones on there as their guest. So I saw that flyer earlier as far as some of the things that I normally watch, the live streams dealing with stepping and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure that's going to be an interesting live because Christine used to be a promoter, still is a promoter, I guess. Ladies are Unique Connection. I used to do a lot of their videos back in the day, and it used to be fun. And we used to make almost movies out of them sets. They had the green, then they had the purple, then they had the yellow. I got a bunch of the different events. I color code them as far as that goes. So I just wanted to get that little shout out as far as I will be tuning in to see what she has to say, especially on modern day events. There's other things going on. I see Milwaukee doing their thing. So they got some people they paying honor to as far as going back when they first started out. I think with Milwaukee, I was one of the first to videotape their event, and that was before they started doing the contest thing. I mean, they had the contest, they had the MSBU contest, but they wasn't a part of doing the preliminary. I think the first year I filmed that event, it was Carl Stokes who was the MC, and they didn't have that particular part of the contest. The second time I filmed that, I think that's when the world largest was doing the preliminaries, and they was coming up there. Or I think that's when Pete started doing the MCing. But I know that first year was Carl Stokes from that radio station up there, and we still got a lot of that footage. They started off at ARJ's. So then, after a while, I think they started doing some different stuff. And then technology came along and they started doing different stuff as far as camera work, stuff like that. But yeah, they initially, when they started out, I think it was the first two, I don't know. I think I went back when they had like a 10-year reunion and I shot some footage then. But the thing about that was by the time we got all that footage out, you had people had cell phones and iPhones by then. So they were putting that footage up before you got a chance to put it up. So it was all fun. I mean, when I think about the history and some of the things I was able to do throughout time, it's a lot of people, man, I work with. Uh, I've been putting up those Don Vic clips, and I really put those back up for him because I seen him one night when I went to the white party weekend. I think I went up there to just shout at a few friends, and I was just standing around, watching people dance, listening to music, and then I told him I would repost them because he hadn't seen them, and this time I made sure I sent him the links and everything, so he's seeing them now, I'm pretty sure. And then Rose, I told her the same thing, so I'm gonna get around to that. So it's a lot of things I be doing now. I don't announce my stuff. I believe that when you announce stuff too soon, it gives you a false sense of accomplishment and achievement. That's why a lot of times you hear people announce what they're going to do and all the stuff they doing, and it never comes to materialize. And I had to learn that because we it's something about the brain when you announce stuff that you haven't completed too soon, then you got to worry about a lot of different variables, because that one main variable is you get a false sense of achievement and accomplishment. Now you don't really want to complete that task because you already feel like you completed it by announcing it like it was already done. You got to have that drive, and sometimes you want to keep things under wrap anyway. And I learned that over time from experience. You can't let everybody know what you're trying to do, but you can't let everybody know what you're doing. That's why a lot of times you see stuff that I introduce as far as technology, and then I might pivot. You find out afterwards, and I share that, and I share that with people because when you pivot, just like I pivot from just focusing solely on stepping and pivot to Chicago bop art, and then that allowed me to pivot to more or less dance history, opposed to remaining in that little self-imposed prison of just this microcosm of dance history, which was stepping and bopping. And it's okay if people choose to be in that, or dedicate themselves to that process. That's all right with me. But I mean, when the mind learns, you expand, you start gravitating to other stuff, and that's what I'm saying. When you let people know what you're doing, sometimes, man, you got a lot of negative, toxic forces coming at you, and then you got people who support you. So I try to focus on the people who support me, but I don't need to pre-announce or broadcast everything that I'm working on. So I'm constantly working on stuff, and it's going to always have something to do with history, technology, dance, or some of those other things. As far as I heard a guy say one day, I was listening to a guy talking about his legacy, and I was like, first of all, we at a point where we retiring now from a lot of stuff, enjoying your family. In fact, my little granddaughter was just here visiting, and I had a she getting so big. We had a good time. We had ice cream, stuff like that, and time flies, man. So a lot of stuff we at that age where we retire, we enjoying our grandkids and different parts of life, and just things that we always want to do. But your legacy itself is pretty much sometimes already written. So some of the accomplishments, and that's my air conditioner coming on. Some of your accomplishments and achievements has already wrote your legacy, and you don't get to announce your own legacy. So people, like I say, when people honor you for work you did with them, or they give you honorable mention for work you did, and even if they don't, uh, you know, based on your life, that whatever it is that you were indulged in, and you did it with dedication, then you already wrote your legacy. So your legacy can cover a number of things. And when I say legacy, I ain't talking about legend, as most people say. I'm a legend and I'm this as far as dance. I'm talking about your legacy. What did your life entail? And then I was just sharing with my wife the other day, when I think about it from all the way back, my life has always been covered as far as grade school, high school, college, military, different trades, different talent, skills, the good and the bad, your accomplishments, retiring from a job for so many years, family, like I say, regardless of the circumstances, you raise your family, you work hard, and you pray for the best. And that's your legacy. So a lot of times, I call it a resume as well. A lot of times I meet people that they don't have a resume, but they like to rewrite history and then make comparisons as if you're in a contest. I've never been in a contest as far as life. When ready to move, I move. I mean, bad relationships, bad friendships, I could name it all. But any of them will tell you and testify to the fact that when it gets too toxic, or when I'm ready to move, I'm gonna make a move, and I'm not going to explain myself or any of that. You don't have to worry about having a conversation with me about closure, because usually most of the time we know what we did. We know the good and the bad. We know the things we are proud of, and we know the things that we are not so proud of, and we have to deal with that in life. But can you really sit down and meditate and think about life and cover for your time? That's your legacy. So sometimes when we coming, people coming at me with this thing like, what we gonna do now? I'm like, I mean, there's a lot of things I'm gonna do now. Like, I love doing this. I don't like doing uh, jobs where I'm under pressure like I used to be, or I got a deadline, or I got to do some artwork that I don't necessarily want to do. I like to do the stuff that I want to do. So when people come to me with what we gonna do in our 70s, as if I'm into I'm here to invest in that dream or illusion, for that matter. I'm usually a little bit resistant because it's not like I'm trying to write a legacy or I'm trying to make a bunch of money, feed my kids, and all of that stuff. A lot of stuff you already done and you still doing. You just want to see your grandkids and take them to get some ice cream. You see what I'm saying? You want to watch them grow up, and that's what you do. And you try to live the best life that you can live. So a lot of stuff is hobby. So the last thing I'm gonna say, like I said, I just came on here to chit chat. I am gonna do a show here. I have decided that for sure. But the last thing I'm gonna say is that watch who you uh, allow your life to revolve around. Make sure your life revolve around God, family, and the things that you really want. Stop buying and investing in other people's dreams or illusions, or stop being manipulated in so many different ways in order to believe these falsehoods with people that seems to have a problem when you won't buy into the fantasy. I'm not here to. I've never been one to just buy into people's dreams. Now I work with people, and when I see it's turning, like I say, it's going for the worse, I'm gonna pivot on you, and then I'm gonna go in the direction that God led me, or I'm gonna go in the direction that interests me, or the things that's gonna benefit me and those I love, and I'm gonna keep a little distance from those that pretty much be on that manipulation scale, on a high level. They want you to, you'll know because you give up your hobbies, you give up your friends, you give up a whole lot of stuff. Sometimes you give up your money and everything else because you're in that illusion. They didn't put you in a state of illusion. It's almost like hypnotics. So be careful out here, especially during these times when economic times are getting hard. Be careful. So if you into God, be careful. Remember what they say about being evenly yoked with people. Because sometimes you think some things or some people or some places are God sent, and they not. And that's a message for somebody special. Because I'm watching you. I know the things that you say spiritually, and I'm gonna tell you from experience. Watch. It's like being in the wilderness, and the devil is talking to you, and he's quoting scriptures, and you think he came from God, but he didn't. So you better know where you stand, and you better have some foundation as to what that word really saying, so you can be protected, because you think that's a blessing. Sometimes you think that's a blessing, and that's danger, Will Robinson, as they used to say in Lost in Space. Sometimes you think that's a blessing, and that's danger. And I'm warning you now, pay attention. Pay close attention to who you got around you. Are you evenly yoked? And that's a spiritual thing for somebody spiritual could understand what I'm saying. Are you evenly yoked? That you take that to the book, you take that to the word, and you can follow me. So I just want to share that and put that out there. As far as anything else, you know me. I come over here and chit chat sometime, and then I put up something. I've been putting up my Chicago bop art. A lot of people been really liking it. People keep asking me to sell it and all that. And can they buy it? And I'm just not in that frame of mind. It's just something I enjoy doing. And that's with most things. God has been so good to me and my family in spite of me. And we've come through so many different circumstances. And there's still things in life that life is never perfect. And it's never going to be perfect. People not perfect. And we're never going to be perfect. But we can strive for perfection. But there's things in life we just have to accept. And that's one thing I've learned, to accept people as they are. Instead of me getting mad at them and being cold and callous, regardless of some of their selfish behavior as well as mine, God just let me know, man, sometimes you just got to pray for people. Sometimes you just got to wish the best for them. Not expect them to change, not be running up behind them and bowing to their feet, hoping they change. I don't hope nobody changes. Whatever they do, I'll just be like, you stay as you are. It's just that they don't make me angry no more. It's not an emotional thing anymore. When you see that person, man, your emotions just get all messed up. Now I could pray for that person, hope the best for that person, and maybe one day it may not be with you, but one day they can get along with people just like I've learned to get along with people. I got my flaws, other people got their flaws, and we need to learn to accept people for who they are. And when God is ready, just like He work on you, He'll work on them. Hey, my name is Dan Land Pro. It's always a pleasure. Make sure you continue to support my channels, subscribe, youtube.com, Webmaster Dan, Dan Land Pro, Steps Express. Oh yeah, that's the last thing. I've been putting a lot of stuff on Webmaster Dan because that was always my channel with the most subscribers. It's pretty much monetized that particular platform. So we're gonna start populating that again and really working towards keeping that up to par. Because other channels I built them for a reason. I built one channel I built just to show. At the time, I wanted to show a person that they was like this little to me. They thought that was my competition, and I wanted to show them that I could start a channel and in a short period of time had the subscribers and memberships and the viewers that would put theirs to. I just got caught up in that, and then I had to break away from that because that was that flaw in me. I'll be talking about. Sometimes people try to compete with you secretly, and then sometimes people try to compete with you or devalue you for control reasons. And I'm just one that when you try that with me, you're gonna get seriously checked. You're gonna get a quick understanding, especially if you're trying to compare my skill set to yourself or somebody else, as if that's to devalue me or to make me feel some kind of way. And I usually don't feel no kind of way other than I'm finna crush you. But I prayed on that too. So now I just enjoy what I do. So hey, till next time, my name is Dan Land Pro. Peace.